Hello everyone. Good evening, guys. We'll just wait for one more minute for others to dial in, guys.
Now,
30 more seconds, guys, and we get started. Okay, let's get started, guys. First of all, a warm welcome to OIC training by Unogeeks. It's a first session for your batch, and I'll start with my introduction. This is Prasad. I have almost 20 years of experience in integration space, guys. And I've been working in OIC for the last 10 years now. In fact, I've been using it from day one Oracle released it. And I did around 10 to 12 Fusion Cloud implementation projects using OIC as a key integration tool. And whatever use cases as part of the course, guys, that I'm going to cover, whatever use cases I'm going to cover as part of the course, those are the real-time scenarios that I've built and delivered for actual end clients like HSBC or British Telecom. I do have a pretty good experience as a trainer, guys. I've done almost 100 plus trainings for OIC in the past, including a corporate and regular training batches put together. And I'm the director of the company, and I would be delivering OIC training myself, guys. And this is what I have an agenda for today. And before I proceed further, before I proceed further, guys, just one quick announcement. When you join the training sessions, guys, you will be put on mute by default. And we have done that only to avoid the background noise, guys. It doesn't mean that you cannot speak up during the session. At any point in time during a session, guys, when I'm explaining something, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. I'll call out your name, ask the question, and once you get your answer, you can go back on mute, and you can lower your hand, and we'll proceed with the session. Having said that, the first two sessions, guys, that we're going to do today and tomorrow, we try to cover a lot more content than what we normally do in a 1 hour training session. And so it would be really, really difficult to keep the first two sessions, today and tomorrow session, as interactive sessions. But from day 3 onwards, I would be keeping it interactive, and I'll be taking questions not only towards the end of it, guys, but during the session also, I'll be taking logical pauses, and I'll ask you if you have any questions. And I'll be going at a very moderate pace, guys. If you think that I'm going too slow or too fast, do let me know. I'm open to adjust my pace as well. So this is what I have an agenda for today, guys. Before we talk about what exactly Oracle Integration Cloud is and what components we have within it, like integrations, PCS and VBCS components, let's try to spend some time and understand why do we need a product like OIC in first place, and what are the integration challenges that we have to deal with as an integration specialist today. And once you understand why do we need OIC, what challenges we have to deal with today, it should take roughly 15 minutes. Then we take a real-time integration use case that I've done for a client, end client, and we'll go into OIC instance and we'll see how easy it is to achieve a complex real-time integration use case in OIC, guys. So I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes. For first 15 minutes, I would be throwing light on why do we need OIC in first place, what integration challenges do we have to deal with. And then we go into OIC and we'll spend 30 minutes there trying to understand how easy it is to build integration in OIC, because I want to show you how a configuration-based approach works in there. And after that, if time permits, I'll also talk about the integration components, or the components that we have in OIC instance. Now, why do we need a product like OIC in first place, guys? So if you look at the IT landscape of companies, maybe 5 years back or even 10 years back, 10 years or even until 5 years back also, guys, all the applications that clients used to have are on-prem applications. Like it could be Oracle e-Business Suite, JD Edwards, or SAP, and so on. All of them used to be on-prem applications. And all we used to do was we used to build the point-to-point based integrations between those on-prem applications. But if you look at the IT landscape of companies today, every company has, you could say 100% of the companies have a hybrid IT landscape. Meaning, if you take a typical client like Emerson or HSBC or any client for that matter, they would be using a lot of on-prem applications. And at the same time, they would also be using cloud applications as well. So if you take a case like a typical case like Emerson, which is a US-based manufacturing firm, they might be using Salesforce to manage their customers. They might be using IDP, a cloud solution, to run a payroll. And they might have implemented Oracle HCM and ERP Cloud in Fusion. And at the same time, they might also be using few on-prem applications to manage maybe a manufacturing or SCM modules. So what does it mean to you and me, guys? Meaning, as an integration specialist, we should be dealing with this hybrid IT landscape in real time. Now, to give you a little bit of more understanding about cloud versus on-prem applications, guys, let's take Emerson as an example. And Emerson is not some fictional firm, guys. It is a client. It's a manufacturing firm based out of US. It's a manufacturing firm based out of US, and it is one of the clients that actually uses Oracle ERP. And assume that we're doing implementation project for Emerson. It's a US-based manufacturing firm. And if Emerson had to implement Oracle ERP product 5 years ago, Oracle had a product called Oracle e-Business Suite, or it's also called as Oracle Applications. And this is an on-prem offering from Oracle. This is an on-premise offering from Oracle, meaning Emerson had to spend a lot of capital upfront, and they have to go to Oracle and buy the required servers. They need to buy a required application server, database servers to run this Oracle applications or Oracle e-Business Suite application on those servers. And after that, they had to onboard an Oracle Apps DBA team to install that Oracle e-Business Suite application on the on-prem servers. And please note that the maintenance of the EBS application is also a headache of Emerson. So meaning, if you think of it from a client standpoint, from Emerson's standpoint, they're spending a lot of capital upfront to buy the required servers. And then they are onboarding a team to look after the application, or install the application. And they're also responsible for maintenance of it. Isn't it ridiculous, guys? You're spending a lot of money upfront, and you had to manage a team, you had to manage the application yourself. And Emerson has to do all of that, apart from focusing on its core manufacturing business, which is their bread and butter. And that's exactly where cloud applications started coming into market, guys. And nobody believed that cloud would be so big that it is today when a Salesforce started their first offering in 2009, the cloud offering. But cloud is everywhere now. And if Emerson had to implement an ERP application from Oracle, Oracle has an offering called Oracle Fusion ERP application. And this product, Oracle is offering only as a cloud product, only as a cloud offering. And how does a cloud application works, guys? If Emerson wants to implement Oracle Fusion ERP Cloud, what is it that they do, guys? After they sign an agreement, with Oracle would go to one of the data center closest to Emerson location. Assume that Emerson is based out of Chicago. Oracle has data centers all around the globe. In fact, it has data center in Hyderabad as well. So Oracle would go to one of the data center closest to the client location, and in that data center, Oracle would install a Fusion application on one of the machines in that data center, and it's going to share the URL with Emerson. And please note, guys, installation of the application in the data center, maintenance of the application, everything is taken care by Oracle for Emerson here, guys. Okay, keeping this application up and running 24/7, doing a disaster recovery and patching, upgrading it every quarter, everything is taken care by Oracle. And how does a Fusion application looks like, guys? So if I just take you to one of the Fusion Cloud application URL, assume that Oracle is doing it. It has installed a Fusion application in data center, and assume that Oracle is sharing a URL with Emerson, and the URL is going to look something like this. And they would be accessing a Fusion Cloud application URL. And yes, Oracle would share admin login credentials with Emerson. And with those credentials, they would be Emerson would be signing into a Fusion Cloud application. And the moment you sign into it, what is it that you get to see, guys? You would be seeing a home page. And what exactly are we trying to access here? It is Oracle Fusion Cloud application that is running on one of the machines in Oracle data center. And that's exactly why it's called as a cloud application, guys. And if you talk about a cloud application, none of these disadvantages apply here, because Emerson need not buy those servers. Emerson need not manage the team, and they don't need to maintain the application. Everything is taken care by Oracle for the client. Installation of the application in the data center, keeping it up and running 24/7, maintenance of the application, everything is taken care by Oracle, guys. And that's precisely why most of the clients have moved most of their applications into cloud, which means you and me have to deal with a hybrid IT landscape today. Now, what does it mean to you and me, guys? Meaning we have to deal with 3 key integration challenges in 2026. Challenge number 1, how do you integrate one Oracle cloud application like HCM Cloud with another Oracle cloud application like ERP? Challenge 2, how do you integrate Oracle cloud application with non-Oracle cloud application like Salesforce and ADP? Challenge number 3, how do you integrate a cloud application with on-prem applications? It could be non-Oracle or it could be Oracle, doesn't matter, but how do you integrate them with on-prem applications? That's challenge number 3. Fortunately, it is very, very easy to deal with all these 3 key integration challenges using OIC, guys. And I've listed down those disadvantages here. Building integrations legacy style. It's too complex to build and too complex to maintain, but it's fairly simple and straightforward to build the integrations in OIC. You would absolutely love it because it's all drag and drop, and there's zero coding in there. And there's also easy option to move the data from cloud to on-premise, and vice versa as well, with the help of something called as connectivity agent. You didn't have this option in other integration products, but it can be done quite easily using OIC connectivity agent concept. And we also didn't have the option to automate a business process in other applications, but we have this option in OIC as well. Analytics is something that you can ignore. And now what we do is, now that you know what are the challenges that we have to deal with, and we discussed the first 2 points briefly. Now, what we do is we get into OIC instance, guys. And even before we get into OIC instance, we'll take a real-time use case, understand it, and then get into OIC instance, and we'll see how easily we can achieve or how easily we can build complex integrations in OIC. I hate PPTs, guys. In fact, yes, when you enroll in a course, we would be giving you access to all the PPTs that you are seeing on screen, and the material will give you access to these 100+ files. But please note that in any session that I'm going to conduct for the next 2.5 to 3 months, I would be using PPT maximum for 5 minutes in a session, and that too only to set the context for that particular day. And since it's a day one demo session, I used it for 15 minutes, but in other sessions, it won't go beyond 5 minutes. And 99% of the time, we would be spending time in OIC instance doing the hands-on exercises. Now let's take a use case, guys. What's a use case that we're going to consider? Assume that we're doing implementation project for Emerson, and assume that Emerson is using Salesforce as their main CRM system. Okay, assume that Emerson is using Salesforce as main CRM system. And whenever they get a new customer, they would be going into Salesforce and entering the customer details there. So let me log into a Salesforce application from here. And assume that it is Emerson doing this. Whenever they get a new customer, they get into Salesforce. And they would be creating a new customer account from here. And what is it that we should be doing, guys? Yes, whenever you go to Sales Console, this is a page that you get to see in a Sales Cloud. And all you have to do is you can click on the drop down, you can go to accounts, and you can create a new customer account from here. So let's say Emerson has got a new customer called John Doe. And what Emerson would do, they would be entering all the customer details here, all the customer details and address details here, and they would be hitting the save button. And assume that Emerson is using ERP Cloud to manage the finance and SCM processes. So what does it mean? It means that whenever there is a customer created in Salesforce, Emerson might say that, Prasad, I want to see that same customer in Oracle ERP Cloud so that I can create an invoice against that particular customer. Because when Emerson gets a new customer, obviously they would have bought some goods or services, and we have to invoice the customer. So where does the invoicing happens, guys? It happens in Fusion application. So whenever they get a new customer, they enter the customer details, hit the save button. And to invoice the customer, a client would come into Fusion Cloud and they go into receivables module. Okay, I can click on the menu option from here, navigator, and I can click on receivables. And from here, I can go ahead and try to create a new invoice from here, guys. I can go to billing and I can create a AR invoice from here. So if anyone is looking at a Fusion Cloud application for the first time, guys, don't worry. I'll be giving you access to a couple of sessions, which will make you comfortable with the navigation in Fusion Cloud, and we'll do the post the course enrollment. And from here, we can go ahead and try to create an AR invoice, guys. So what's the requirement? Requirement is very simple. Emerson says, Prasad, as and when we enter our customer details here and we hit the save button, we want that customer to be created in Fusion Cloud so that we can invoice the customer. So how do we handle that, guys? Okay, so as and when you create a customer and hit the save button, that same customer should be showing up in the AR invoice screen in the customer button here, in the customer dropdown. So that what would happen? Emerson can invoice the customer immediately as soon as they create the customer in ERP. Now, when you get this use case, what is the first thing that you have to do, guys? Is it possible to achieve use cases like this in OIC, guys? You can quite easily achieve it. Now, just to summarize, what's the use case that we are looking at? As soon as the customer is created in Salesforce, the same customer should be created in ERP Cloud. And two important considerations, guys, there should be no time gap and there should be no manual intervention. So what client says is, Prasad, I don't know what you do. I hit the save button and I want the customer to show up here. And there should be no time gap, no manual intervention. So what do we do, guys? How do we achieve this use case in OIC? So we go back to achieve use cases like this. We can log into OIC instance. Jaisima Reddy, I think you missed the announcement that I made at the beginning. First 2 days, it would be impossible to take the questions during a session because they being a demo sessions, I'll be trying to cover a lot of content as part of the sessions. But towards the end, I'll take the questions. Please hang on, jot down the questions, and let me know at the end. So I've logged into OIC instance from here, guys. And this is exactly how it looks like. So we are in Oracle Integration Cloud Gen3 instance, which is the latest version of OIC available in the market today. And this is exactly what we will be using to do the training sessions. And the moment you click on the menu option here, you would be able to see integrations. Okay, you can certainly in OIC, you can build a wide variety of integrations, guys, and you can integrate cloud applications with on-prem applications and vice versa. And we do have a Visual Builder Cloud service, and we have Process Cloud service as well. So please note that, yes, we can build wide variety of integrations, and we can make a one application talk to any other application under the sun using OIC. And in fact, as part of the course, we will be building 15 complex integrations covering all possible scenarios. And we would also be, in OIC, you do have two more cloud offerings called Visual Builder Cloud Service. And with the help of this, you can build a complex Redwood applications, Redwood web applications using VBCS, guys. In fact, we will be building 5 such applications. And when you build those complex web applications like a HR web app or order management application or invoice applications, obviously when a user logs in, creates an invoice and submits it for approval, to support those VBCS applications with the approvals, we would go to process automation, and we will be creating the required approval process here. So please note that OIC offers 3 distinct capabilities. You can build a wide variety of integrations and make systems talk to each other. And we do have an option to build a complex web applications in VBCS. And to support them, we would be building a complex approval process in PCS as well. Complex approval process in PCS as well. And one good thing with OIC is, guys, or in fact, what makes OIC a killer integration product is, you can build a complex integrations in VBCS, and from those integrations, you can kick off a VBCS applications. And from those VBCS applications, sorry, you have an option to build integrations here, and you can build VBCS applications and PCS applications here. One best thing with it is, all these 3 applications can talk to each other, guys, meaning after you build a complex web app in VBCS, we can kick off a multi-layer approval process from it. And after approvals are obtained, we can kick off a REST API. We can kick off a REST API and send the data to Fusion Cloud, meaning these 3 cloud services that you have in OIC offers distinct capabilities, and all these 3 cloud services can talk to each other, guys. Okay. Now we go back into OIC. And as part of the course, we'll be doing 15 integrations, 5 VBCS, 5 PCS applications. And one of them will be a complex end-to-end flow, guys. We'll see how to build a complex web app in VBCS, kick off an approval process from it. And after approvals are obtained, we'll see how to send the data to Fusion Cloud application by calling an integration as well. So I'm back in the integrations track here. Just give me one moment, guys. Yeah. So going back to the use case, guys, so we were looking at a Salesforce to ERP automation. And whenever a customer is created in Salesforce, the same customer should be created in ERP, no time gap and no manual intervention. So to achieve this use case, the first thing that we have to do is, before we build the integration in OIC, what is it that we should be doing, guys? We should be establishing connectivity from OIC. We should establish connectivity from OIC with a source and the target applications, guys. In this case, what is a source application? Salesforce. And what is the target? It is ERP Cloud. So what is it that we should be doing? We need to go to the connections, and we should establish connectivity from OIC with a Salesforce and ERP Cloud. And once a connectivity is established from OIC with a Salesforce and ERP Cloud application, by creating the required connections, then we can use those connections and build the integration flow. So we go to the connections, and what is it that you would be doing is you create a Salesforce. You create a connection using Salesforce adapter. Now, when you try to create a connection, guys, the first thing that you see is you need to pick up an adapter. And what you notice is Oracle has given almost like 100 plus adapters in OIC. The box, guys. Not even 100, guys. You have plenty of them, much more than 100. And as you can see here, as I keep scrolling down, the adapters keep popping up. And these adapters would help you to talk to any, most of the applications that clients use at the enterprise level, guys. So if I search for SAP, you have adapters to talk to SAP. And if you search for Salesforce, you have adapters to talk to it. And if you search for Oracle, you see that there are almost 30 plus adapters that would help you to talk to a variety of Oracle applications, guys. Okay, so what it basically means is, so when you see an adapter here, what does it mean, guys? It means that it would be very, very easy for you to integrate with those applications or talk to those applications and achieve what you need. Okay, now in our case, what are the two applications that we need to interact with, guys? We need to interact with Salesforce and ERP Cloud. So the first thing that I should do is I should pick up a Salesforce adapter, create a connection with it. And when you create a connection, we should be picking up an adapter. And what is it that we do, guys? You pick up a Salesforce adapter and you need to give it a name. And I'm going to enter UG111 here. And I say Salesforce connection. And I'll be using a UG111 as your batch identifier. I'll be using UG111 as your batch identifier. Let me just check once. What is the current batch number that's going on? I go to projects. I'm going to apply my username as a filter here. Okay, 111 is also done. So it's a UG112. UG112 is a batch identifier, guys. So whatever integrations that I'm going to create for your batch, okay, whatever integrations that I'm going to create for your batch, or whatever components I create for your batch, rather, I would be using UG112 as a prefix, guys. And yes, you would have guessed it by now. It is 1/12 batch that I'm doing for OIC at Unogeeks. And to make it easy for you to understand what are the components that we are creating for your batch, I'll be using this as a prefix. And I say Salesforce connection. And as you type in name, you see that identifier is generated automatically. And a couple of things that you might have noticed here, that the name is converted to uppercase, spaces replaced with underscore. That's a behavior that you get to see when you enter a name, identifier gets generated automatically. And there is something called as a role that you need to select when you create a connection, guys. And the default role would be trigger and invoke. I would need at least 30 minutes to talk in detail about a role, like what is trigger, what is invoke, what is trigger and invoke, and when do we use them. And day one session is definitely not the right time for it. I'll be talking about these three options in detail when we do the first REST API in OIC. Okay, when we do the first integration after a few days, I'll be spending half an hour talking about the significance of this role in detail. But for now, I'm going to leave it as a default value of trigger and invoke, and I hit the create button. So this is how you should be creating a Salesforce connection first. You enter the connection details. So you pick up a Salesforce adapter, enter the details here, hit the create button and proceed with a connection. And in the next screen, after you hit the create button, in the next screen, what do you see is you would be entering a Salesforce login credentials. And one important point with a Salesforce connection, guys, in the next screen, we should be entering a Salesforce token there, guys, in the next screen. which will be slightly complicated. So we would be covering the Salesforce creation when we do this actual use case as part of the course, guys. Remember, whatever use case that we are discussing today, it is one of the actual integration use case that we're going to do as part of the course in detail, guys. In fact, I'm not going to build the integration today. I'll just show you how easily it can be done in OIC. But the actual build of integration and actual creation of connections, we will be doing it as integration number 13 as part of the course. So when we do this use case, we'll be creating a Salesforce connection. Assume that a Salesforce connection is done. And what's the second connection that we need, guys? We need Oracle ERP connection. That's the second connection we need. So you search for Oracle ERP Cloud adapter because we have established connectivity with Salesforce. Assume that the connection is done. And the next thing that we need to do is establish connectivity with a Fusion Cloud or Oracle ERP Cloud. So I'm picking up Oracle ERP Cloud adapter and I'm going to create a connection. So I say UG112 and I say ERP connection. And the same story as you type in name identifier is generated automatically and spaces would be replaced with underscore. And when you guys practice the use cases, guys, you should be using your initials as an identifier so that it'll be easy for you to understand what are the components that you're building. So for example, if Akshay Bahiwal is practicing it, so he would be using AB as his initials as a prefix so that it'll be easy for him to understand what are the components that he's doing. So I type in name here, identifier is generated, role is trigger and invoke. I'm going to leave it that way and you hit the create button. So when you create an ERP cloud connection, what would happen is depending on the adapter that you pick up, when you create a connection, the properties that you see within the connection would change. So since it is ERP cloud connection, it is asking me to enter the Fusion Cloud application URL, enter the username and password. And if I have probably created a database connection or FTP connection, it would prompt me to enter the FTP details or the database details here. So what properties you get to see will depend on the adapter type. So since we want to create a connection in this Fusion Cloud application, what is it that we should be doing? I copy that Fusion Cloud instance URL and I'm going to enter the properties here. I'm going to enter the Fusion Cloud instance URL here. And I should be entering a username and password here. I'll pause the screen share. I'll get the password and I'm going to enter it here. Don't want to expose it in the session. I've copied the password. I'm going to paste it here and I'll test the connection. So what is it that I'm trying to do now? I'm trying to establish connectivity from OIC with a Fusion Cloud application with the EXES instance. I've entered the username and password. So if this username and password is correct, you should be able to see the connection status becoming 100%, which means going forward, I can use this connection in the integrations to talk to this Fusion Cloud application. What do I mean by talk to the Fusion Cloud application or interact with Fusion Cloud? I can go ahead and do whatever I want in the application. I can load the data, I can extract the data, I can do whatever I want. So you see the connection status becomes 100% here, which means OIC is able to talk to this Fusion application now. Connection is successful. In an exactly similar fashion, you would be creating a Salesforce connection as well, guys. It's just that we have to use tokens and I don't want to get into it in day one session. And we cover that as part of the actual use case later on in the course. Now, once a connection testing is done, so this is what you would do. Step number one, you understand what are the systems that you need to talk to, create the required connections. And after that, you have to build the integration flow using those connections, guys. Assume that Salesforce and ERP connections are in place. You need to go ahead and build an integration. And in that integration, you need to build an integration flow. And that integration is going to look something like this. So Salesforce to ERP. So I'm going to search for one of the integration I created for a previous batch here. Now, just in case anybody is wondering what's going on, Prasad just said that he's doing his 1/12 batch for OIC. But when he's searching for Salesforce service here, he's searching for UG58. And now the reason why I have only UG58 projects until UG58 in integrations tab is because, guys, the remaining batches from 58, we moved into OIC Gen3. And in OIC Gen3, we had the concept of projects. And batches from 58 until 112, until 111, all those batches, we have covered it in the projects tab. Now, what exactly projects are, why Oracle has given that, given this option, and how does it help? Tomorrow by this time, you know the answer. Okay, so just a quick clarification there. I'm looking at UG58 here because after this particular batch, we moved into projects in OIC Gen3. Now, what's the expectation, guys? So to handle this particular use case, when I got this use case, guys, to be very frank, I sat in the requirement discussion. Client told me that this is a use case that I should achieve. And to be frank, I don't even know ABC of Salesforce. Okay, in fact, it was my first integration with a Salesforce application. And one important announcement, guys, whenever you do any integration use case, one thing that I usually see students assume is, okay, if I have to integrate Salesforce with ERP, I need to know Salesforce application inside out, and I also need to know how ERP works. Sorry, guys, that is not your job. Every application has a functional and a technical teams. Salesforce has a functional team. Salesforce has a technical team, and it is they who would be integrating it is they who would be dealing with that application, doing the configurations, doing the technical work there. Our job is not to replace the Salesforce technical or a functional teams or a Fusion Cloud technical or functional teams. Our job is to talk to them, understand the capabilities that we have in that particular product. In fact, it is they who would be doing all the required setups for you in those applications. Our job is only to talk to them, get the required information, build the use case. So when I got this use case, I set up a couple of hours team meeting with a Salesforce technical team. And I asked them one single question. I asked them one question, basic question. Is there a way that we can do some process automation when user hits the save button? So what they said is, yes, Prasad, we do have an option to do a process automation flow in Salesforce. And in fact, what they did is in that session itself, they have, in fact, I was not even given access to a Salesforce, guys. So whatever I'm going to show you in the Salesforce application now, so all these setups were done by a Salesforce technical team in the Salesforce application. Even in real time also, you would not be given access to it. It will be they who would be doing the required setups in the application. And they would just ask you to build an integration and give the URL to them. So when I asked them, is there a way that we can do some automation when you hit the save button? Salesforce technical team has taken me to the setup page of a Salesforce application, and they have defined a process automation flow. And that process automation flow is going to look something like this. That process automation flow is going to look something like this. Okay, so you do have, let's apply a filter. I'll just go ahead and otherwise search for the flow line, search by the flow label is. Yeah, you're able to see the flows here. So one obvious thing that you can do is you can certainly build process automation flows. And in fact, a Salesforce technical team has done something like this. You see this? This is the one that I've done for UG110 batch or UG109 batch. You pick any of them up. So yes, we can do a process automation flow in Salesforce. And what they did is, Prasad, whenever we hit the save button on the Salesforce, we can do a process automation flow, which gets triggered automatically when account is created. And from the flow, what is it that we are calling, guys? We are calling an outbound message. From the flow, we are calling an outbound message. Now, what exactly can you do in an outbound message? In an outbound message, we can call an integration. So what Salesforce technical team has told me is, Prasad, all I want from you is build an integration in OIC, give me the endpoint URL, And that integration endpoint URL is what you are going to call in the outbound message in Salesforce here. So what would the flow look like, guys? As soon as you enter the customer details and hit the save button, as soon as the client does it, this flow gets triggered, and from the flow, outbound message gets triggered, and from the outbound message, your integration gets called. So all a Salesforce team expects me to do is build an integration in OIC and share that URL with them so that they can call it from a Salesforce application. And whatever customer details are entered in the Salesforce screen here, customer screen, all those customer fields will be passed as input to the integration in OIC. Now, when Salesforce told that, Prasad, you need to build an integration and give me the URL, that's all you're supposed to do. So all these setups are done by them, and they just want a URL from me. And one important point is, if you today and tomorrow's session, I might use some technical terms which you might not be familiar with, like I might say integration, endpoint, or I might say SOAP service, REST API, or any other term. If you're not familiar with, don't worry or don't panic. Just bear with me for the first 2 sessions. And from day 3 session, day 3 and day 4, we will be covering web service basics as part of the course, guys. Day 3, we will be focusing on SOAP service basics. Day 4, we will be focusing on REST API basics, guys. Day 3 would be SOAP service basics. Day 4 would be REST APIs. And after we complete day 3 and day 4, even though you have not worked in integrations anytime in the past, absolutely not a problem. After we complete these 2 sessions, you would be very much comfortable with all the terms that I use in the sessions. You would be comfortable with the web service basics. Okay, now if I go back, so your Salesforce team wants me to build an integration in OIC and share the URL with them. So when you build an integration in OIC, guys, the first thing that you should do is you should choose an integration style for it. And there are 3 options for you to choose from: application, schedule, and event. And we talk about these integration styles in detail tomorrow with relevant real-time use cases. And in this particular case, since the integration that I'm going to build would be triggered by a client from another application, in this case, it is Salesforce. So since the integration that I'm going to build should be triggered or would be triggered by client from another application, what is the application style that I should choose, guys? I have to pick up an application style here. This is an integration style that I have to choose. Because when you build an integration using application style, after you build it, you go ahead and activate the integration. There will be a URL generated, and that URL is what you're going to share with the Salesforce team. So we would be building this integration from scratch as part of the course later on, guys, and we'll be building it as integration 13. And when we do the use case, we will be building it from scratch. And how exactly would the integration looks like, guys? So we would be calling it as Salesforce to ERP service, and this is exactly how it looks like. First of all, when you create an integration, by default, you will see a blank screen. And you see when I put my mouse on the integration here, guys, you see a plus icon popping up. And when you click on a plus icon, what is it that you get to see, guys? You can see that there are connections that you can invoke, and there are also actions that you can perform. You can call the connections, or you can perform actions like sending a notification, logging a message, and so on. Now, when you create an integration for the first time, you see a blank screen, and I will be clicking on a plus icon, and I will be using a Salesforce connection first. I'll be using a Salesforce connection first, and I will be configuring it as a trigger node. In any integration that you build, guys, the first node that you have is called as a trigger. And since Salesforce application is going to trigger my integration, I have to use a Salesforce connection as a trigger. So you search for a Salesforce connection, and you will be configuring it as a trigger node to receive the customer details from Salesforce. So after you build the integration, activate it, share the URL with a Salesforce team, what would happen? As soon as you enter the customer details here, hit the save button, the flow gets triggered. From the flow, outbound message gets triggered. And from the outbound message, you would be calling the integration in OIC. And when this integration is called, obviously all the customer details entered here will be passed as input to the integration. And after we get the customer details, what is it that I should do, guys? At this point, I went to Fusion technical team and I asked them, boss, I'm getting customer details as input. And with those customer details, I need to go to ERP Cloud. And I should be creating a customer here. Right? I should be creating a customer here. So at this point, and since it is one customer that I have to create in ERP Cloud, what should I be using? I had to use a web service-based approach, because there are two approaches. You could use web service-based or file-based approaches when you do a data upload to cloud. And when to use what approach, we'll spend 1 hour. We'll spend 1 hour on that particular topic before we do a journal import service later on. So at this point, I need to go to ERP and create a customer there. And since it is a customer business object, guys, and since it is a master data, it gets a little bit complicated here. So you don't have a one web service. It's not like a journal or a purchase order wherein you call one service and it creates a data in Fusion Cloud. Instead, since customer is a master data and since it uses a TCA architecture, what should we do, guys? Technical team has told me that, Prasad, you should call 3 services. You should call customer account service to create a customer account and a site. But before you create a customer account and a site, you call the organization service to create a party and a party site first. Because customer account will get linked to party, the customer account site will get linked to party site. And for party site, location is required. So to keep it simple, to create a customer in ERP Cloud, there are 3 services that you have to call. And I'm going to explain this design also in detail when we do the actual use case, guys. My intention is not to overload you on day one, but it's just that you will be using ERP connection here 3 times. So you see this node, guys, this is ERP connection. We use it 3 times to call 3 different services to create a customer in ERP. And how exactly do we do this, guys? So for example, I need to register a location first, then party site, then customer account. To do this, what exactly we do? We just have to click on a plus icon and we choose the connection. You see, this is an ERP connection that we just created, right? So this is exactly how you build the integration. You click on a plus icon, you choose the connection, and I say process a location in ERP. I'm using ERP connection as an invoke and I'm saying process location. And I would be choosing a CRUD operations. So when you use ERP connection, what is it that you can do is, what is it that you can do? You can go ahead and use a ERP connection, and there are 3 things that you can do. And the first one is what we are interested in because we want to create a location in ERP. So you do a CRUD operations, continue, and you select services. And what do you do, guys? You select a location service here. Now, similar to how you have procedures within a PL SQL package, the moment you select a web service here, what do we see, guys? You would be seeing an operations there. So in a location service, what do we see? You would be able to see operations like create location. What is it that I do? I just have to click on continue. And what is it that I'm trying to do? I'm using Oracle ERP connection here, and I'm asking OIC to go to ERP Cloud and create a location there. Now, when I ask OIC to do this, what would happen, guys? First of all, in which OIC instance will it try to create a location, guys? I'm asking it to go to ERP and create a location. In which Fusion Cloud instance will it create that location, guys? If you go to the connections, you go to design, you go to connections, and in the connections, you will be able to see the Fusion Cloud instance link, and you have entered the username and password. So what OIC would do, when I ask it to create a location in ERP Cloud, it would pick up the login credentials from here. It would we are asking it to create a location in ERP. So you would be using that connection here. And in the connection, you mentioned the URL, username, and password. So OIC would log into this Fusion Cloud instance with these credentials, and it would try to create a location. And it says, okay, Prasad, no problem, I'll create a location. But what it would do is OIC would immediately create a mapper As soon as you use a ERP connection and you say create a location, it creates a mapper immediately and it says, Prasad, tell me with what address details you want me to create a location. Isn't it a fair ask, guys? I asked it to create a location. It is asking me to map the address details, right? So it is a very much a reasonable expectation. So all I have to do is I've opened up a mapper component and I'm seeing a source and a target. And in the target, I see the location details, address details that I have to pass to the location service. And on the source side, we would be able to see the customer details received from Salesforce. And now what is it that we should be doing, guys? All we have to do is we have to pick up the fields from a source and we have to map it to the target, guys. So this is how simple it is to build integrations in OIC, guys. Establish connectivity with a required application, source and target applications first. Okay, create the required connections. And after that, you build an integration flow, configure the source and trigger connections. Mapper gets created immediately. Go ahead and drag and drop the components from the source to the target, like what I'm showing here. Now, in the mapper component, guys, remember just dragging and dropping a component, an attribute from a source to the target is a simple thing that you can do. But please note that a lot of complex XSLT stuff is possible here. You can go to code, edit it, and so on. And as we progress in the course, when we build complex integrations, I'll show you how to use this mapper effectively. But if we go back to PPT, yes, it is OIC uses configuration-based approach, guys, meaning zero code. Doesn't matter whether you're building integrations and doing the mappings or whether you're building VBCS or PCS applications. OIC follows a configuration-based approach. OIC follows configuration-based approach, and it means zero code. And it will be very, very easy for you to build integrations. As I've shown you just now, drag and drop them, create the connections, use them in the integration, get into the mapper and do the required mappings. That's all you're supposed to do. And that is exactly how I created this integration. So you see this location, organization, customer account. I just repeated this twice, 2 more times, and called the other services and did the mapping. And it is easy to integrate cloud applications with on-prem applications, guys. In OIC, you have the concept of connectivity agents. With that concept, you can easily integrate cloud applications with on-prem applications as well. And you do have a process automation as well, which is available, which is exactly what you see here. So you have everything that you need to build complex integrations, VBCS and PCS applications in OIC. And all the components use configuration-based approach, zero code. Now that brings us to what exactly OIC is. It stands for Oracle Integration Cloud. And it has 3 components in it: integrations, process automation, and visual builder, visual application build. Analytics is taken off, guys. And Oracle Integration Cloud is basically a PaaS product, platform as a service product. And every client uses OIC to build the required every client who uses Fusion application, guys, or any client who implements Fusion Cloud, they definitely need to use OIC as a platform to build the required integration, VBCS and PCS components, guys. And that's precisely why you see so much of a craze for OIC developers in the market today. And that's precisely why you're sitting in a training session here. Now we'll stop here for today, guys. And before I open up a session for Q&A, don't worry. I'll take all the questions, only then I'll close the session. Couple of announcements. It's a first session for your batch that we are doing today. It's a 6 to 7 p.m. IST batch. Monday to Friday, we do 1-hour training session, and batch goes on for 3 months. And as part of the course, I'll show you how to build close to 15 complex integrations. 15 complex integrations, not 1 or 2. And I'm going to show you how those use cases would look like in tomorrow's session, what exact use cases we do, and so on. I'll give you a high-level overview. And we would also be building 5 VBCS applications and 5 PCS applications as well as part of the course. And all the training sessions will happen over Zoom. We record them and give you lifetime access to them. As you can see, I'm recording this session as well. So I understand that most of you are working and you do have meetings to attend 1 odd day. I do get it, and but absolutely nothing to worry. We have a I mean, we record every live session, give you lifetime access to them. So just in case you miss any session at 6 p.m. in the evening, nothing to worry. By 9:30, I will upload the session recording to the folder. You can go ahead and watch the recording tomorrow and let me know if you have any questions in the next day session. And as part of the course, we would be sharing, giving you access to all the material that you're seeing on screen, integrations, VBCS and PCS components. And we would also be giving you access to OIC instance. We'll give you access to Fusion Cloud application. We'll give you access to Salesforce. We'll give you access to FTP server and a database in cloud. Pretty much every infrastructure that you need access to will provide you with that. And so the expectation is you attend a session live, or if you miss it, go through the recording, get into the instance, practice it, and let us know if you have any questions in the next day training session. That's the expectation. And tomorrow, I would be walking you through the options available in the integration designer screen, guys, and I'll give you a high-level overview of it. And I'll also walk you through the course content. And yes, please raise your hand if you have a question. I'll call out your name, and please only the person, a name that I'm calling out, unmute yourself, ask the question, and once your question is answered, please put yourself back on mute and lower your hand. So that way we avoid confusion and we take questions one by one. Okay, Navneet, please go on.
Yeah, hello,
So please
Prashant.
put your hand on unmute button. Keep it ready. As soon as I call your name, please unmute yourself, ask the question, and once it is answered, go back on mute and lower your hand. Navneet, please go on.
Yeah, hello. My question is like, are we going to cover the exception handling part as well as part of like while building
Okay.
all those
When
integrations?
Yep. Exception handling is probably one of the most important concept that will be that you need to know as an OIC developer, and it is also a concept that integration. Sorry, when you attend any interview related to OIC, everybody would love to spend 10-15 minutes on that particular topic, and not just the fault handling is. We cover when we do these use cases. There are a lot of other complex or advanced topics that you need to be aware of, like integration design considerations, fault handling in quite detail. Okay, I'll first give a simple answer to your question. Yes, we cover fault handling to a greater level of depth, to an advanced level. In fact, we spend 3 full-length sessions, 2 to 3 full-length sessions only on fault handling, teaching you everything that you need to know about fault handling. Okay, and not just that, there are a lot of other advanced concepts that you need to be aware of as well, like the design considerations, best practices, how do you debug your integrations, and all such things. And we would be covering all of them in detail. And if you just attend the sessions and practice what we cover in the sessions, you should be able to show off that experience or the level of knowledge that you get. You can easily show it off as 3 to 5 years of experience, depending on how much of a content you were able to absorb and how much of it you practice after the course is done or after the session is done, sorry. Okay. Yes, we do cover fault handling too in great detail. Yes, Mayank?
Yes. And one more question I have.
Yes, please.
So, like, if any particular use case, if you are not going to cover as part of this particular course content,
Mhm. Mhm.
so can we ask you for that particular use case? Like, if in
Okay,
my
as long as you don't exploit my expertise as a job support, I'm more than happy to help you. Okay, so what
Mhm.
we often see happening is some students enroll in a course, assuming that Prasad would be providing them job support and get into a Zoom call with them as and when they have a production issue. If that is a use case, I'm sorry.
No.
You need to enroll in a course. Yes. So the point is, by the time we complete the course, Navneet will be able to handle a 99 out of 100 tasks by himself in a production real-time environments. But out of those 1 or 2 use cases, if Navneet doesn't know what exactly he needs to do for a specific use case that he's getting at work, or while we are practicing the use cases, I'll teach you a few use cases and you try out one additional use case and you get stuck. Of course, I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Okay,
Yeah,
Mayank.
that answers my question.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Prasad. Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Actually, I'm asking about FBDI and BI publisher. Is this
Yes.
content are including this course?
We do cover FPDI integration as part of the course. And if you ask out of 15 use cases, FPDI is the most important use cases of all. Because whenever you do any integration project, you will not just build one FPDI automation service, you will build at least quite a few of them. Yes, we do cover FPDI. And in fact, we will be spending of 5 to 6 full length sessions only on that particular topic. It is that critical. And yes, we would also be covering BIP as well as part of the course. And BIP is one of the critical component in outbound flow services that you build in OIC. We do cover BIP as well as FPDI. And another important point is in case anybody is hearing FPDI and HDL for the first time, or any topic for that matter that you're seeing on screen, don't worry or panic. When we do these use cases, the way I proceed with the training sessions is we don't directly go to the OIC instance, and we don't directly start by creating an FPDA main service plugging in this logic. Because when you don't even know what is FPDA full form or how does FPDA works, it is meaningless to directly build the integration use case. So what I do is, for the benefit of everybody, for every use case, I would be taking you to Fusion application, and I'll show you, in case of FPDA, I'll take you to Fusion application. I'll show you how FPDA process works manually in Fusion Cloud by loading a simple file. And once you are comfortable with that FPDA manual process, then we'll come back to OIC and we'll see how to build an integration to automate that flow. And this applies for all the use cases, guys. Even if it is BIP, first of all, I'll show you how to create a BIP report in Fusion Cloud. What is BIP, how to create it, how to call it from integration, and how to extract the data and send it to cloud. Bharat?
Thanks, Prasad.
Hey, Prasad.
Yeah, please go on with the question.
Here you have shown, creating a connection, right, between the Salesforce and the Oracle Cloud. So if I have an application where it is not well established and it is kind of,
In such cases, you would be
software or something.
using SOAP or REST APIs to talk to that application. Say, for example, your client has a custom .NET or Java application, and you don't have an adapter to talk to it in OIC. You would ask that particular team to expose a SOAP service or a REST API, and you will use those adapters to talk to the application. And we'll be focusing on it as we progress in the course. Okay. Banu Prakash?
I do have like two questions, yeah. So first is like, are we going to get support of this OIC integration, this OIC certification? And the second thing is like, whether we will be touching any,
Sorry, I'm losing your voice. Okay, I could not hear your second question, but the first question with regards to certification, there is a certification exam called Application Integration Professional Certification Exam, and that is the exam that you would be targeting after the course is done. Okay, the exam code is 1Z1042 and UC25. This is a certification exam that you would be targeting, guys, after the course is done. And to clear this particular exam, you just need to know integrations part. So if you look at the exam topics, you would be getting questions only from the integrations topic. Okay, so yes, after we complete the integrations track, you can register for this particular certification exam, and you should be able to clear it quite easily. So if you attend all the sessions that I do for integrations, practice the use cases that we cover, it should be fairly simple and straightforward for you to clear this exam. And also to help you understand what sort of questions can come in this particular exam, we would be sharing a practice questions as well, and those practice questions will prepare you well for this particular exam. We're not saying that whatever questions that we're going to give you, you get those questions as is in the exam. That's not what we are saying here. And it's just a practice question so that you understand what sort of questions can come in the exam. If you attend all the integrations track and sessions that we do for integrations track, and if you practice it, and if you go through that set of practice questions, not 100, 200%, you will clear the exam quite easily. And I'm sorry, I could not hear the second question that you asked.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, so my second question is, are we going to touch like a small use case scenario for this using this Oracle AI Agent Studio using
No,
this
we
OIC?
at the moment we don't have anything related to AI Agent Studio as such. But I'll
Okay.
see if well, because we've off late we have seen requests coming in for Oracle AI Agent Studio. But I'll see if I can
Mhm.
throw some light in one of the sessions. Yeah,
Yeah, I think this will be really
yeah,
helpful because
yeah.
right, this is booming currently. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Teja.
Like, is there any, in future, will be AI involved in this OSC?
The Oracle has already plugged in a lot of AI features into it. Say, for example, even when you schedule an integration or when you do a lot of tasks in OIC, and even when you build a new integration, also you start seeing AI features coming into picture there. When whatever features that Oracle is providing by default, we'll be covering them as part of the course itself. Say, for example, when you're building an integration in OIC, the moment you create a new integration, you would be able to see, so for example, if you take this journal import service as an example, you would see that Oracle has given, okay, this is an active status. Let me go to this use case. And you see that there's an option for you to interact with AI. And if you give a commands here, and it would help you, it'll help you a bit with doing adding these notes automatically. So what you can do is, in short, Oracle has already incorporated a lot of AI features into the OIC product. And when we do the integration use case, when we do the mappings, a lot of that work is done by AI in the background. And say, for example, when you create an integration, the moment you open it up, you will see that it asks you to give a prompt. And as soon as you enter a prompt and you hit the button, it will add the required connections and required nodes. But of course, you have to, as a developer, you need to go to those nodes and you need to configure them. And yes, wherever AI features are available, we will be focusing on them when we do those appropriate use cases. Yes, we.
And one more thing, do we need SQL to, do we need to know SQL in further?
First of all, the only use case where you need SQL is when we do the BI reports. And usually when we do the BI reports, if it is simple component, after our training is done with that knowledge, you should be able to handle the BI report build yourself. But when the requirement becomes complex, usually there will be SQL and PL SQL developers available in a project. Because even when we do FPDI, there might be a requirement to build a PL SQL package there. And when we do BI reports, you need a SQL there. We as OIC developer billing is much more than a SQL or a PL SQL developer billing. And there would be no client who would be wasting 3 or 4 weeks of your time asking you to build a PL SQL package when there is somebody who can be paid a 1/10 of what you're paid and get that work done. Yes, if you know a little bit of SQL and PL SQL, it helps. But even if you don't know it, there will be folks in the project to help you. And when I say SQL, you don't need to know everything in SQL. You just need to know how to write complex select statements. DDLs are not really required. Yes, in PL SQL, when you do FPDI, if you're building a PL SQL, then you might also need to know a DDLs there. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prasad.
Thank you. SV, please go on.
Hey, Prasad. So on the handshake, right? Let's say the use case between Salesforce and Oracle. Is there any proxy, like the connection, the security related configurations that we need to worry about?
Well, yes, we get into granular details when we do the actual use case. Of course, there are security mechanisms. There is basic auth, OAuth, and user and password tokens. So we'll talk about that in detail when we reach that stage.
Okay, sure. And certificate management, do we need to worry about that?
No, not really. You do have, for example, if you have to call a REST API given by a vendor, and if it needs an SSL, yes, you can import that certificate and you can just refer to it in the connection if required. But with regards to the standard applications that you integrate with, you don't that handshake usually happens in the background automatically. Okay, but yes, there is a provision to upload certificates and use them in the connections if required.
Okay, and we're going to cover that as well, Prasad.
We would cover PGP encryption, PGP certificates. We cover different types of security mechanisms as well. We don't do anything related to SSL, but other bits are covered. Subshi?
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. SUPSHI. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly here. Subshi, please go on.
Yeah, Prasad, this is Sharavati. Yeah, just
Sharavati.
wanted to check on. Oh, you already answered this custom integration. Is it possible? So is it possible at both the end, like if the custom legacy system is available at the target or at the source?
Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is quite possible to handle it.
And all the 15 integration that you will be showing, is it the standard one, or you will be covering something custom integration also?
When we do the agent integration, I'll show you how to talk to on-prem applications so that you understand how it works. And when we do the actual use cases, you will be integrating them with the standard applications like ERP Cloud, Salesforce, and so on. But we will be interacting with those applications using SOAP and REST adapters as well. So once you understand how to build integrations using those SOAP and REST connections, you would be using the same logic. It's just that instead of in the REST API connection, instead of calling Oracle API, you will be calling a custom API there. That's the only difference.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Kiran?
Hi, Prasad.
Hi.
You are going to provide us with the platform, right? OIC platform.
Obviously, yes. You would be given access. You would be given access to OIC. You would be given access to Fusion Cloud application. You would be given access to Salesforce. You would be given access to a database, database in cloud, and we would also give you access to FTP server.
Yeah.
So these 5 infra accesses, we give you access for 3 months from your batch start date.
3 months only. Okay. So after that, it will get expired.
Correct. Yes.
Sure.
And if you want to extend it beyond that, I'll share the contact details of a vendor. You can talk to him and get it extended.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Akshay?
Actually, I want to know that whether we are going to have a how to debug or how to trace the flow
Yes.
in the sessions. Do we have
When
that
we do,
capability?
yes, obviously, yes, we do have. When you activate the integration in OIC,
Mhm.
you do have an option to choose a trace level first of all, and depending on the trace level that you choose when you activate it, that would basically control what exact details gets captured in the integration instance. Whenever you run the integration, there will be an instance created, and in that instance, what details get captured depends on the trace. Depends on the trace level that you choose. And in one of the integration, when we do the file transfer service, I would be explaining about that in quite detail. In fact, I'll talk about what are these trace levels, and I would also deliberately create few faults in the integration when we do this integration, and I'll show you how to effectively use this debug mode to debug your integration in less than 2 minutes time.
Okay, so that execution will be a step-by-step or it will be completed and then we go and check the steps.
The second option.
Okay.
Yeah. Nagarjuna Reddy?
Yeah, hi Prasad. Prasad, in our 15 integrations, so do we cover like EBS to ERP or ERP?
Not EBS to ERP. We would be doing one integration between cloud to on-prem applications with the help of connectivity agent. In that integration, I'll be interacting with on-prem database server running on the machines. We don't have EBS application. But the approach that we're going to follow in this use case, yes, in this use case, I'll show you end-to-end process, like how to create an agent in OIC, how to download that connectivity agent zip file, how to go to on-premise machine, how to install it there, and use that agent in the connection, and use the connection in the integration. After we do this particular use case, you will be following the exact same logic, even if it is EBS application or JD Edwards or SAP or any other application, on-prem application, the same story that we do here would apply there. Okay. Sumit?
Hi, Prasad. Are we going to build any complex Redwood application as a part of this?
Obviously, all the three. Obviously, yes. So because Redwood is, you could say, it's a best keyword that you can have on your resume, or best skill that you can have in your profile at this point in time. There are very few developers, OIC developers available in the market who are skilled in building complex Redwood applications. Tomorrow I'll be showing you what are the Redwood applications that we're going to build. All the applications that we build in VBCS, we would be using complex Redwood templates and the patterns available there. Tomorrow I'll give you a preview of what you're getting into.
And one more thing regarding the certification, like after this course, are we able to go for the like Redwood certification application
Quite
development?
easily. Yes. Redwood also you should be able to target, provided you build all the 5 applications that we create, and after that you should be able to target that certification as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anil?
Yeah, thanks for your time, Prasad, for extending
Thank you.
Q&A. So,
Yeah.
are we going to cover B2B applications as well in this?
No, B2B no, but I can share a couple of blogs, and it's just a matter of defining a schema in B2B and using B2B related actions in the integration, like EDA, translate, and so on. If you just go through them, you should be able to easily understand them. So it's only in the interest of time we won't be able to accommodate it.
I think I'm getting some B2B requirements also from.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's
but
why I'm
unfortunately,
just
yeah,
curious
we
about
don't.
it.
Yeah, we don't cover it, but I can share blogs that would help you to easily extrapolate that knowledge and easily build it.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thanks everyone for dialing in today. Let's meet tomorrow, same time, same Zoom link, and I'm going to give you an overview of the integration designer options. Thank you, guys.